tell you, it says after the formation of the OSS, researchers launched into the discovery of a truth drug for using during interrogation, as well as into what would later be terminated. Salaki would term the Manchurian Candidate, and that's where you get that MK Ultra from. That's where you probably get that LSD. That's why they said that guy Leary, I think his name was Peter Leary or something like that. The professor though that basically had all those students experiment with acid and LSD. You know, that was a psyop though. It's a term the Manchurian Candidate, hypnotically programmed agents and assassins, the popular coinage derived from the 1959 fiction book of the same name. Never knew Manchurian Candidate was a book. I knew it was a movie that they remade with Denzel Washington. I think the original had what's that guy name? It was part of the Rat Pack, Sinatra. The OSS run by Donovan was terminated in 1945 with American intelligence operations taken over by the Allen Dulles and the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA. The CIA Office of Scientific Intelligence continued research into mind manipulation, with an early emphasis on drug research. Early phases involved reviewing the drug-related work of a number of hospitals around the country for results which could be applied to covert operations. Although responsibility for the mind control programs that were launched in America in the early 1950s has been placed at the doorstep of the CIA, this attribution ignores early sources. These programs were the visible edge of a wave that had begun much earlier with the British, American, and Nazi eugenics, psychiatric New World Order combination propelled by Rockefeller and Roundtable funding, with the most prominent agents of this group in America being the Eastern Establishment, Harrimans and Dulles. Skull and Bones, W. Everall Harriman family had promoted eugenics causes since the turn of the century. Harriman was also a major supporter through his controlling interest in Union Bank of Hitler's rise to power in Germany. Slovakia. In 1951, Harriman was named director of the Mutual Security Agency, elevating him to an influential position in shepherding the American-British military intelligence alliance. Harriman and his business partners, Alan and John Foster Dulles, also from a pro-eugenics background, were largely responsible for the increase of American efforts in the area of covert and psychological warfare operations, as well as for promoting the Fabian One World orientation that was the raison d'etre of the Council on Foreign Relations. Now that's all information that I had no idea. So I got a script. Because at the end of the day, that's how you know it's all about the Most High's design. These elites and these people that's joined onto them, they come up with, they do a lot of stuff in secret. That's why you got Psalms 83. They did a council. Well, that's when they did a council. The nations came together and did a council. But, well, bear with me for a second. Well, no, I'm not even gonna get it. I was gonna say, you got that scripture in the Psalms where it talks about hiding from the secret counsel of the wicked. That a lot of this stuff that they do in secret, and that's why Yahweh made the statement. I'm not about to get that either, but he was talking about because you've always had mystery schools and secret societies. You know what I mean? At one point in time, the followers of the way, or the followers of Hamashiach had to do things in secret because they were being persecuted. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Shah made the statement that everything he did openly. He didn't do in secret. And you got these demons that continue to do everything in the shadows today. But that's like I said. At the end of the day, it's all of the Most High because what they did in secret has been brought to the light. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 2, where there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Verse 3, therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in closet shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. Alan Dulles, the first director of the CIA, was in many ways the penultimate political insider. His family was an influential early supporter of the international eugenics movements. Wow, did not know that, and had strong financial connections with the Nazis. The Dulles, or is it Dulces? It's Dulles. Dulles. I'm sure it's like Dulles. Dulles or something, were intermarried with the Prevosts and Mallets of Switzerland, who, in collaboration with the British royals, had been European spy masters for hundreds of years and is said instrumental in injecting the Scottish Rite of Masonry into the United States. And like I said, I can believe that this book is very informative. I may keep this, I don't know, but I'm also doing videos on it. I might back up a lot of my videos just in case if Esau try to fuck with it. Perhaps most important to their rise to power was that at the end of World War One, Allen and John Foster Dulles were recruited by the infamous One World of Colonel Edward House, who in fact bore no military rank. And during the Paris Peace Conferences, the brothers were informally inducted into the Rhodes Roundtable Group, which is another think tank. You know, you got the Committee 300, you got the Bilderberg Group, and the Rhodes Roundtable Group. You know, like I said, you got all these secret councils. Basically, that's the spirit. There's a secret council. Groups of Edomites. Say you got, heathens mingled in, but then just because you look like a heathen don't necessarily mean you're a heathen. Like I was listening to, I think it was Elder Malcolm will bring out that, I can't remember who it was. I don't want to bear false witness, but it was one of the elders. They were speaking on how, a lot of, like Moab, you think a lot of them Moab, well, not Salaki one Moab, it was talking about Gad, like a lot of those so-called natives or so-called Indians, well, so-called natives, the ones that own the casinos and whatnot, a lot of them are Esau. They're not Gad. And then when you go into what's that $5 Indian, this place is fucked up. Like I said, like the history of it is like crazy. It's funny, it's crazy, yeah. But Salaki, not to digress, it says the Dulles brothers were responsible for starting the American branch, the Council on Foreign Relations, with funding coming from the Rockefellers, the Morgans, Bernard Baruch, Paul Warburg, and others. In 1920, Allen Dulles was appointed first secretary of the American Embassy in Berlin, and perhaps because of his family connections, took over American intelligence in the strategically key country of Switzerland. Dulles was chief of station in Bernay, Switzerland in the early 1940s, at the time that the effects of LSD were purportedly discovered by Dr. Albert Hoffman, working for Sandoz Laboratories. At the same time, mind control experimentation using mescaline and other drugs were being used on inmates of the Dachau concentration camp a scant 200 miles away. Allen's brother John Foster Dulles became the chief executive of the influential Sullivan and Cromwell law firm that represented the notorious I.G. Farben during the rise of the Nazis. I.G. Farben run until 1937 by the Warburg family, banking partners with the Rockefellers, along with Rockefeller's Standard Oil of New Jersey, were merged in hundreds of transnational cartels. And just for a piece of history, like our camp is based out of Cleveland. So at the end of the day, John D. Rockefeller's actual, home was, well, probably one of his many homes, but one of his main homes was in East Cleveland. If you go look up that area that was prominent at that time, like it was the home of the first billionaire. Well, that's one of the attractions that they say when you come here from visiting out of town. But if you ever go visit that city, that's how you know they're the devil, because they leave a tank. If you ever go visit that city, it's like the worst city in the city, or in this county. Better yet, Salakia, not city in the city, because it's its own private city, but it's so fucked up. This city East Cleveland is talking about merging with other cities just to actually survive. I'm gonna stop there.